Pokemon Day 2024 has come and gone, and while my expectations were quite low for what we'd see in Tuesday's presentation, I was pleasantly surprised with what they showed off. First off, the presentation itself was great, keeping a quick pace instead of spending too much time on small updates for existing games like they have in the past. In terms of announcements, we had the usual news for Pokemon Go, Cafe Remix, and Unite, and then they showed off the Pokemon trading card game Pocket, which feels to me like they saw the success of Marvel Snap and said, we can do that. As someone who has not played the TCG in a long time, I'm really excited to jump back into what seems like a more casual experience. Before I talk about the big announcement, something I really wish they'd do is put the Game Boy, Game Boy Color, and Game Boy Advance games on the Switch Online service. I'm guessing that their reasoning behind this is either that they don't want Pokemon duplication through save states or rewinds, though they could just turn that off for those specific games surely, or the more likely option, they want to sell those games again at full price. On to the big announcement. Black and White are safe, for now at least. Honestly, leading up to the announcement of the event, I was so convinced that we were going to get Black and White games of some kind. And then after the event was announced, some supposed hints in the announcement had the internet thinking we were going to get games based in Johto. The presence of Unknown throughout the presentation itself also had me thinking that the whole way through. But neither of these things happened. Instead, we were introduced to Pokemon Legends ZA, set in the Kalos region. And I am really excited about it. I loved Pokemon Legends Arceus, and from what we know about ZA, this game has so much potential. First off, after all this time, Pokemon Z is actually real. It was so strange that X and Y never got an alternate version, and obviously this game is not going to be what a Pokemon Z would have been back in 2014, but I'm excited for Kalos to get another chance in the spotlight. From my best guess, this game seems like it's going to be set sometime after X and Y. How far after I'm not sure, but based on the fact that they're redeveloping Lumiose City, I'm assuming it's after. In a tweet from Nintendo after the announcement video, they stated that the game would be set entirely in Lumiose City, which had people online a little bit weary to say the least, but honestly made me even more excited about what they could do. I think having the limitation of only being in Lumiose means that they don't have to focus on creating the rest of the region and only making a detailed living city. With the redeveloping of Lumiose, we could see them expand the city to even bigger than it was before, and there's so much potential for a variety of things to do, like a safari zone, sewers, and one of my friends even reminded me that since it's based on Paris, we could see an equivalent of the Paris catacombs, which would be a really cool labyrinth to explore. I feel like the whole tease around redeveloping lends to the fact that we as a player might be actively involved in building the city. Maybe we'll get to customize certain aspects of the new Lumiose, kind of what I spoke about in my last video. But most of all, I'm excited that I'll finally be able to explore Lumiose City with a proper 3D camera and not the nonsense they had in X and Y. I feel that in terms of the potential story of Pokemon Legends ZA, that Z and that A imply a lot to fans of X and Y. The story of AZ, his Floette, and the 3,000-year-old war was something that I've always wanted to learn more about, and I think we'll get more of that here. Another friend of mine mentioned that the title being spelled Z-A, almost like Z2A, could imply that we're going back in time to that war in some capacity. I'm really excited to see what they could do with it. In terms of what the gameplay will be like, from the little they've shown, it feels like this is going to be somewhat different to Legends Arceus, but in all honesty, we don't really know what makes a Legends game a Legends game. We've only had one so far, and this new game seems like it might be quite different, so I guess we'll have to wait and see what's the common thread, if any, between these two games. The last thing they showed was a tease for the return of Mega Evolution, which is something that fans have been begging for a long time, so I'm happy to finally see it make its return. I wonder what new Megas we'll see, if any. Maybe the dream of Mega Flygon will finally come true. And finally, what made me most excited about this game, it's not coming out this year. Along with claiming that Legends ZA is their most ambitious project yet, the Pokemon company announced that the game would be releasing in 2025. Obviously, this could mean that it comes out in January like Legends Arceus did, but one thing I specifically remembered from that game's announcement was the fact that they said it was coming out in early 2022. For this game, they didn't say early 2025, just 2025. I would be so happy if this game comes out holiday 2025, since Game Freak having a year off of releasing a game means that they have more time to work on this one. Despite how down I was on this year's Pokemon Presents before it happened, I am now really excited for the future of the main series games, and I can't wait to see more of Legends ZA. What are your thoughts on the announcements and on Pokemon Legends ZA in particular? Let me know in the comments. I would love to hear your ideas. And with that said, I hope you enjoyed the video and that you had an excellent Pokemon day. Thanks so much for watching, and stay safe everyone.